You know, we tend to think of a high IQ as this amazing superpower, right? The key to effortless success, making all the right calls. But what if that same powerful mind has a hidden kryptonite? What if the ability to see every single angle of a problem actually becomes the problem itself? Okay, let's dive into this.
So check this out. This quote comes straight from a member of the Mensa subreddit. That's a community for people with IQs in the top 2%. And wow, does it perfectly capture what so many smart people go through. Analysis paralysis. This person is trying to decide on LASIK surgery, but it could be anything, right? A new job, where to live. The mind, which is supposed to be this incredible problem-solving machine, just ends up building a maze of possibilities that's so complex you can't find your way out.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? Is this just a normal human thing, something we all struggle with, or does having a higher-than-average IQ actually make it worse? Does that supercomputer brain sometimes get stuck in its own processing loop? This is what we're going to explore.
So how do we find an answer? Well, we've got to move from personal stories to the hard data. Let's really dig into what psychological studies have found about this surprising link between being gifted and, well, the mental hurdles that can come right along with it.
This slide, man, it just gets right to the heart of it. On the left, you've got the stereotype we all know from movies, the cool, confident genius who just knows the answer. But then you look at the right, and you see what the research actually says, and it's a totally different picture. Studies show that high intelligence is often correlated with more stress, a tendency towards unhealthy perfectionism, and even feeling isolated. The reality is just so much more complicated.
And get this isn't just some minor issue affecting a few people. There was this one incredible study that looked at winners of major science competitions. I mean, objectively brilliant, high-achieving people. It found that nearly 70% of them reported facing 2 or more significant psychological challenges. So, for the majority of these folks, this is just part of the journey. It's the norm, not the exception.
So, if these challenges are so common, what exactly are they? Let's break down the specific hurdles that the research shows pop up again and again.
This chart lays it all out. You can see stress leading the pack, no big surprise there, but right behind it are perfectionism and self-criticism. And it's so easy to see how these three are tangled together, right? It's like a vicious cycle. You set impossibly high standards, which leads to stress, which is fueled by perfectionism, and then any tiny mistake gets blasted by that harsh inner critic.
And it's really crucial to define what we mean by perfectionism here. We're not talking about the healthy drive to do good work. Researchers call this unhealthy perfectionism, where the standards are so ridiculously high that they just backfire. Instead of helping you achieve more, they just cause anxiety, procrastination, and make it almost impossible to learn from feedback.
Okay, now here's one of the most surprising things from that study. Look at this. Over 32% of these incredibly accomplished people reported struggling with low self-esteem. Just let that sink in. It's such a powerful reminder that all the external achievements and brain power in the world don't automatically mean you feel good about yourself. You can literally win international awards and still feel like you're not good enough. It's wild.
And this brings us to another huge piece of the puzzle, the social and emotional side of things. Because a mind that thinks differently can often feel like it's thinking completely alone.
And this isn't just a feeling people have. The research backs it up. A master's thesis that specifically studied a high IQ group found a direct link. The people in the study, all with IQs over 130, reported feeling lonelier than the general population. It just goes to show that being different, even in a way society says is good, can still create a lot of distance.
The study also makes this really important distinction, breaking loneliness into 2 types. So you have social loneliness, which is about the number of friends, the quantity. But then there's emotional loneliness, which is about the quality of those connections. It's that feeling of having people around you, but still feeling like nobody really, truly gets you. For a lot of high IQ folks, that's the real challenge.
Okay, so we've identified the problems. The overthinking, the perfectionism, the isolation. So what's the way forward? Where's the off-ramp? This brings us to our final section. We're going to go right back to where we started, that Reddit thread, and look at the practical, crowdsourced wisdom from people who live this every single day.
And 4 fantastic strategies came out of that discussion. First, journaling. Just the simple act of getting all those swirling thoughts out of your head and onto paper can create some critical distance. Second, get physical. Boxing, hiking, dancing, anything that forces you to be in your body, not just your mind. Third, trust your instinct. Set a hard deadline for a decision, and when the time is up, just commit to your gut feeling. And finally, a huge mindset shift. remember that not making a choice is a choice, and it's usually one with its own set of consequences.
I think this comment from that same thread just sums the whole thing up perfectly. The very tool that gives you such clarity, the ability to analyze everything to death, is also the source of the agony. It is the paradox in a nutshell. What other people might just blissfully ignore, the analytical mind feels compelled to take apart, piece by piece.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. Maybe the ultimate skill for a powerful mind isn't about thinking harder, but about developing the wisdom to know when to let go, when to trust your intuition, and to just choose, to know when it's time to turn the supercomputer off. Thanks for joining.